the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
President Trump's lawyer weighs in on the special counsel's investigation. I'm John Schumo in New York with what Rudy Giuliani had to say about the president pardoning himself.
One Bozeman organization is trying to get kids outside. I'm Midair Spab, and later on I'll let you know what Kiwanis is giving out for free.
Good morning to you. Welcome to your Monday. Current time 6:31, and our top story for you. One of the president's attorneys says his legal team will fight any effort to force Mr. Trump to testify in the Russia probe.
In fact, in one interview Sunday, Rudy Giuliani went as far to say the president could shoot someone and not be indicted. CBS's John Schumo has the details.
Rudy Giuliani went on a media blitz Sunday, saying President Trump cannot be forced to testify in the Russia investigation. The president's lawyer did leave open the possibility that a voluntary interview may happen under strict guidelines.
Look, if they can convince us that it would be brief, it would be to the point, there are 5 or 6 points they have to clarify, and with that we can get this over, this long nightmare for the American public over.
During an interview with HuffPost, Giuliani claimed in no case can he be subpoenaed or indicted. He added an extreme hypothetical. Even if the president shot former FBI Director James Comey, who Mr. Trump fired, the president cannot be prosecuted until he's out of office. It echoed a claim from the campaign trail,
where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
Giuliani downplayed the idea that the president has the authority to pardon himself.
Pardoning other people is one thing, pardoning yourself is another.
Pardoning himself would just be unthinkable, and it would lead to probably an immediate impeachment.
The possibility was raised in a memo President Trump's attorneys sent the special counsel in January. It was published on Saturday by the New York Times.
I think that would be a terrible move. I think people would erupt. That would create outrage on both sides of the political aisle.
Giuliani was not part of the team that drafted the memo. John Schumo, CBS News.
Now, Giuliani said that a decision about an interview would not be made till after President Trump's summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and that's still scheduled for June 12th in Singapore.
A lot to follow, a lot of back and forth, so we'll keep following it for you.
Meantime, it's time to go outside.
Yes.
Beautiful out there. Sunrise has been gorgeous. The temperature is perfect.
Birds are chirping. Rain's mainly off to our north for the morning, but there could be a chance of some showers and thunderstorms a little later today. Right now, 40s and 50s for most of the area. West Yellowstone sitting in the 30s. You can see there are some showers trying to show up on the radar right now, but best potential is likely to come in the afternoon and west of the divide today. We'll probably see some warmer days ahead. We'll talk more about that, of course, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Our top story from the state for you now. Multiple agencies responded to a crash involving 4 motorcycles and 2 vehicles on Vaughn South Frontage Road outside of Great Falls. This happened on Sunday. It happened when a car was making a left-hand turn, and then a second vehicle came up behind and rear-ended that car, pushing it into the road and hitting 4 motorcycles. 6 people were injured and taken to the hospital, with injuries ranging from minor to serious. Now, fortunately, no fatalities have been reported at this time, yet no names have been released.
In other headlines, yesterday the New York Times released a profile of Senator Jon Tester explaining he isn't sweating President Trump's planned summertime blitz against Democrats in a tour that could bring him to Montana. Donald Trump Jr. tweeting this yesterday, sharing the article with the caption, "See you soon, John, #MAGA. Tester is running unopposed in the June primary, but 4 Republicans are vying for the opportunity to face him in the November election, including Matt Rosendale, Russ Fagg, Troy Downing, and Al Olszewski.
And Butte's temporary homeless shelter was only supposed to stay open through the winter. The facility shut its doors last Thursday. MTN's John Amy talked with some of the homeless to find out how it served and what's happening next for them.
Butte's temporary shelter was there to help people get through the long, cold winter. On Thursday, that shelter closed.
Now they're closing us down, and I'm scared, they're not going to be there to help us out anymore.
In November, Action Inc. opened an emergency homeless shelter in this vacant building on North Main Street when the city's permanent shelter, run by the Butte Rescue Mission, was still unable to find a place to reopen the shelter. However, funding was limited for the temporary shelter, and its last day was Thursday.
We stopped accepting people about a week and a half ago, new people into the shelter. And we've been, certainly for the people who've been here, they have known that this day was coming. So for those who don't have a place to go, we'll still continue to work with them through our rapid rehousing services.
Though it was only a short-term solution, staff at the temporary shelter believe it served its purpose.
Nobody died because of exposure this winter. That was our goal. And when the emergency shelter is low barrier and it's working in the continuum of care system, you can be successful at getting people housed.
Officials with Action Inc. said they were able to provide shelter for more than 200 people, and they even found permanent housing for many of the clients. Still, some of the clients that were released on Thursday say they still have no place to go.
I have nowhere to go. We don't know what we're going to do. These are the ones that are left, the stragglers that have nothing left. We don't know where we're going, what we're going to do. We have nowhere to go.
The Butte Rescue Mission intends to have the permanent shelter open by September. But until then, those who have nowhere to go will have to make it through summer somehow. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Action Inc. officials say that they will continue to work with those left homeless by the closure to try to find them housing over the summer.
Also, a record-setting number of Bozeman high schoolers walked across the stage on Sunday for graduation. A total of 475 students received their high school diplomas at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. That's the largest graduating class the school has ever seen. Graduates broke the record set last year by 12 students. Principal Kevin Conwell says it's great to see more students come through the doors as Gallatin County continues to grow.
It's a challenge, with that many people, but at the same time, it's exciting to be one of the few communities really in the state that's growing, and of course that's reflected in the school as well. And so, yeah, it's fantastic. We have awesome kids here. We have great support from families, the community. We couldn't ask for anything better.
By the way, Bozeman High, the largest school in the state of Montana.
And Bozeman's Kiwanis Club is keeping a giving tradition alive. MTN's Medeiros Babb gives us the scoop on how the club is trying to turn any backyard into a beach.
I think Kiwanis, our goal is to serve the children of the community, and this is an easy way to do it. We've been doing it for many years.
Each summer, the club makes around 80 5x5 sand pits that they give to families free of charge. The Kiwanis Club supplied a sandbox, a liner, and enough sand for the box for anybody in the public to come and pick up. All they had to do was pull up their vehicle for volunteers to line their tailgate with a tarp before Kiwanis member Alan Goldhahn filled the truck with sand. Once it was full, a wooden frame was placed on top. Jen Kirk says she saw the excitement in her daughter's eyes once the sandbox was ready to take home.
Kaya outgrew this tiny little one she had, and we didn't know what we were going to do because she loves the sandbox. And when we heard about this opportunity, we were so grateful, and it's one of the main reasons we still live here after, well, basically our entire lives, is because the community always rallies together, especially for the kids.
They're very appreciative, and the smiles on the children's and getting their little shovels and buckets and the excitement that they see, that's real rewarding.
Goldhahn says the main purpose of this project is to encourage kids to get outside while still having fun. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Sandboxes can still be picked up at the Gallatin County Park on June 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. or on June 9th from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. The sandboxes are given on a first-come, first-served basis. So, Chet, get in line.
I love playing in the sand.
Yeah, you do.
That's a blast. That's
I love
good stuff.
that. That's a
Been
great
doing that for a
really
long
fun
time.
Story.
Thank you, Kiwanis, for making that happen.
I love it. I love it. Good morning to you. We're so glad to have you with us on your Monday. Coming up on Montana This Morning, we head under the big sky for our weekly segment spotlighting a Montana company. And today we learn about the history of the sports bra and the brand that made it here in Montana.
But first, let's check in with Gail King, see what is coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we're covering developments from 2 volcanic eruptions. New video is coming in from Guatemala, where the massive explosion killed dozens. And rescues are underway in Hawaii, where some are now cut off by lava. We'll talk with Dr. David Agus about the new study that found that some women with breast cancer may not need chemotherapy. We'll see you 7 o'clock straight up.